you have the ring. And I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Now let's see how well you handle it.
After the longest time, I finally finished Death Stranding. Absolutely fantastic game. Because I was playing Death Stranding, I didn't have a chance to pick on the ponies for defending a $70 price tag on The Last of Us remake, which is absolutely disgusting. But if you want to see fantastic videos on them, watch a video by Fatanga Plays and Oh No It's Alex. They have fantastic content, really funny, and I watch their content all the time. So I do suggest you go there. But today, I'm going to leave the ponies alone. I came across a video by a proper Nintendo fanboy, and there's not a lot of Nintendo fanboys out there, but when you do find one and when he makes a great video, it's something special. This is a Nintendo fanboy coping with the Steam Deck's existence and how he thinks Rich at reviewtechUSA has a very bad take on it. Let's get into this.
Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I the Dragon, Cool and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King Deal, Lauren Frey, Grim Clover, and the upcoming Jaw the Dragon.
Every time this Nintendo man-child makes a video, he has to go on about being the author of all these books. I swear I'm going to have to read one of these one day.
I have a brand new microphone, so my apologies if there are any issues with the audio quality. I had to make some adjustments, and I think it's okay.
Apology not accepted, Harmon. My ears are starting to bleed.
But I saw this video, this half an hour abomination from reviewtechUSA, and I just had to immediately do a reaction to it. Like, seems to be like the trend for him, honestly, in recent years, is to just antagonize fan bases.
He's not out to antagonize fan bases. He just likes to put his own 2 cents in about technology, and he has some interesting takes, and it's his own tastes. Why do you have a problem with it?
And cause drama in the community. Because I think anyone who's seriously paying attention could tell you
he is not causing drama in the community. Only fanboys like you get triggered by takes like this because only you care for some weird reason.
Steam Deck isn't going anywhere. It's not successful. It's not particularly popular. But there are a lot of people in the YouTube sphere, people like Rich, who are constantly talking about it, constantly antagonizing Nintendo fans to try and get clicks and try and get attention.
I don't have a Steam Deck myself, but it seems to be very popular. It's a whole PC in your pocket. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm not planning on getting one myself, but if I do have some spare money, I might get one. My Switch, on the other hand, is practically useless. I can emulate all the games on my PC if I want to. To get clicks and views, is that the point of YouTube, Hammond?
So let that be known that this is the real reason he's doing this now. This is the reason he's making this kind of content. Like, this isn't his honest opinion. This isn't his honest feelings. This isn't like his hot take. This is him trying to grift. This is him at his absolute worst, to be completely honest with you. Like, it's not about video games. It's not about reviewing tech. It's about like being a drama shill, a YouTuber, like a Keemstar, and trying to antagonize fans of certain brands. So let's see what this video is about.
He's not here to trigger fans. He only triggers people like you, fanboys. He's only stating his preference of the Steam Deck over the Switch.
The shirt is coming off for this one. The shirt is coming off.
2 minutes in and I'm already disgusted.
You're disgusted? Why is that? Are you afraid of Rich's chest? His big hairy chest? I'm okay with it. I don't care what he does. I laugh at what he does.
Alright, I'm shirtless. Let's get into it. Skip it up and that up.
I do enjoy me some skibidi-bap-bap-bap.
Again, this is the kind of person Rich has turned into. Just literally the male equivalent of like a Twitch thought.
So, are you ready to go? Are you naked or whatever?
Yeah, I'm good. I look like a cross between Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World. I don't know how that happened.
And I'm just shirtless like I always am. What's up?
Show me your nipples.
What's up, everybody? Well, you are going to see my nipples. This is a video I've wanted to make since I've gotten my hands on the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck has made the Nintendo Switch completely irrelevant to me.
That's right, Rich. And you know why? Because you can emulate all Switch games, all previous Nintendo generation games on the Steam Deck.
In most ways, minus exclusives. It's
Minus exclusives. The the big main reason you would ever buy a Nintendo console, the big Nintendo games. Oh, other than that, oh man, the Steam Deck has made the Switch completely obsolete. No, it's more affordable, it's more popular among the general demographic, it's easier to get a hold of. There's no benefit to having a Steam Deck over a Nintendo Switch.
The reason the Switch is so popular is because it appeals to children more than it does adults. And if you want to talk about exclusives, you could get a lot more exclusives just on Steam alone. Oh my god, you have no idea.
Showing that the Switch is showing its age, and with what Valve did with the Steam Deck,
That is a really funny cope I've been seeing these people try and come up with is that like, oh man, the Switch, it's 5 years old, it's a dinosaur, it can't compete. It's topping the sales charts. It's one of the most popular gaming brands in the world. Like it's well on its way to being the most popular selling console of all time. Nintendo would be insane to release a new piece of hardware in the next couple of years. Like I don't even want them talking about it until it eclipses the PS2, to be completely honest with you.
The Switch's hardware was out of date when it came out. It's a mobile phone chip. It runs games at maximum 30 FPS. The odd game runs at 60. My phone can achieve that with the same games, those third-party studios that I put on there. I'm saying you don't want them to talk about making a new console. Why not? Why wouldn't you want a more powerful console? They should be keeping up with the current gen consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. At least then they'd have a console worth having.
it kind of shows what I want from a future Nintendo Switch. So, Jay, I'll let you take over from here because I know you kind of have a different take. But what
Who
do
the
you
fuck is
feel
JL?
about- have you tried the Steam Deck yet at all?
No, actually, I haven't, but I've tried the iNeo that you sent me, the iNeo Pro, I believe you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
It is, quite similar to that. So, my roommate did order one, so it'll be here shortly.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah. So that's something that Steam Deck fans don't really talk about is that there are already a lot of alternatives to the Steam Deck that haven't really even made a dent in Switch sales. Like this kind of like cheap Switch knockoff has been a thing for years now. Like I've seen reviewtechUSA like try and sell like several of them. Like most of them are like $1,000. Like they're targeted towards a niche demographic. They're boring as fuck. Like there's no reason to pick one up really. I think I've seen them as early as like 2014. Honestly, I think I remember like GamerNate78 like showing one off. Like, oh man, look at my Mario Kart 64 ROMs. Like I'm never giving Nintendo money again. Like I've seen these kinds of things before.
Okay, one, they're not Steam Deck fans. They're PC gamers that want to take their Steam library on the go. And two, how is it a cheaper knockoff when it costs more and some of them were out before the Switch even existed? Doesn't make any sense. And if you can get the ROMs, why would you give Nintendo money again? Why would you get anyone money again if you can get the games for free? And Hammond, you could have recorded when there wasn't construction going on in the background.
But like the reason they don't take off is that they're too expensive and they're too niche. They don't have any appeal to a wider audience the way the Switch does. The Steam Deck itself can't really connect to a TV.
Are you sure about that?
The way the Switch can.
Neo is a little bit different, but the
A
Steam
little
Deck
bit, yeah.
is, for anyone who doesn't know, is Steam Deck is Valve's take on the little Switch-like gaming PCs, but Valve went a step further with it, and they put on Steam OS. It doesn't have Windows. You could go into a Linux desktop, but the thing that's interesting about the Steam Deck is they consoleize the PC gaming experience. The iNeo.
So you're saying that the Steam Deck Valve basically made a console. Like these guys always love saying that like, oh man, consoles they're so inferior to gaming PCs. But then like the Steam Deck comes out, which is a console, and they start like bleeding about how much better it is. It's more like they consoleized it. Valve's like stop taking Nintendo mindshare. Like it's so ridiculous.
Poor choice of words there, Rich. They haven't consoleized it. It literally is a PC that you can take with you on the go, that's small on a laptop, tiny bit bigger than the Nintendo Switch. I mean, we don't want Hammond Smith thinking he's got a W here now, do we?
And consoles like it, as awesome as they are, and I'm really excited for iNeo's new products, and GPD Win is coming out with some amazing like laptop that's going to have the newest AMD processor in there that's going to be really good at gaming as well.
Why is this fucker constantly buying new gaming PCs? Like I don't see myself like acquiring new gaming PCs like anything any more than like maybe every 4 years or so. And that has nothing to do with like upgrades in technology or things like that. Like it's just a matter of like, that's around the point like I start having problems with my PC. Like obviously you can do things to like make them last longer and stuff like that. But I have so much money now, I might as well just replace like the PC. You know what I mean? Like that's probably what I'll do with this one. Like going forward, like yeah, once every 4 years is fine for anyone, I think. The thing is, like, you don't need to upgrade your PC near constantly. You don't need to try every single brand. You don't need to try everything that comes out. Like, there's no benefit to it. There's no reason to do that.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
And yet Rich is constantly talking about like, oh man, I'm getting all these new AMD processors. I'm getting all these new gaming laptops. I'm trying all these like Steam Deck knockoffs. And I'm just like, why? Why even go through the trouble? Like there doesn't seem to be any real reason to do it, honestly.
Well, it seems Rich likes tech, and so do other people. And seeing that his channel is called reviewtechUSA, says that he likes to buy tech, review it. So it makes sense for him to buy a lot of new tech, in all honesty. I don't see how you don't get that, Hammond. Personally, I'll run my shit until it dies. But I'm a cheap asshole. But sometimes I do like to treat myself and buy something new.
The Steam Deck, though, does something further where it makes it easy to use like a console, where you don't have to worry about getting extra software to use as a mouse. You don't have to worry about, you just turn it on and select the game just like you would on the Switch, but the Steam Deck is a lot more powerful. And my thing,
they keep saying this, but the thing is, we're at the point now where having more power doesn't necessarily make games better. You know what I mean? Like we're at the point now where there's no reason. There aren't really games that are available on Steam Deck that aren't available on Switch. Not really.
What? No reason for more power. No games that are available on the Steam Deck that aren't available on Switch. Have you fucking played Elden Ring? Have you played Death Stranding? Spider-Man's coming out. Sony bend the knee to the PC market. Well, Spider-Man's coming. We're getting The Last of Us remake, even though I'm not going to pay $70 for that shit.
There's no... It's not a selling point, right? That the Steam Deck is more expensive than the Nintendo Switch. Oops, here we go.
About it, when the Switch first came out, okay, there wasn't the same market for like the portable like these portable PC consoles. You had the original GPD Win, which had an Atom processor. You at best could play like the original Dead Space at 720p and maybe get close to 30 FPS. It was the fact they even called it a gaming PC, a portable gaming PC, was kind of laughable. But when the Switch first came out, it was doing things that you didn't really see with those other Switch-like gaming PCs, that it could play games like Wolfenstein 2, Doom Eternal. They even got The Witcher running on the Switch, which is still, to this day, mind-blowing to me.
No, it's not.
But
The Witcher isn't like... The Witcher 3 isn't some like mind-blowing masterpiece of a game that can't run on anything other than a gaming PC. Like, I don't know what's with this mindset that, like, The Witcher 3 was that technically demanding, because it's not, honestly. Like, honestly, I didn't even believe CD Projekt Red when they tried to say that like it couldn't run on a PS3 or a 360. Like, I never believed that, never will. And it's weird to me that people like this are still insisting that like, oh man, like this game, like it's black magic that it came out on Switch, man. It shouldn't have been possible. Like, fuck off.
Okay, maybe The Witcher 3 could have run on the 360 and the PS3, but about 15 FPS. And look at the state of it in the Switch. Compared to the PS4, the graphics are terrible.
Fuck off. The only thing keeping developers from putting games on Nintendo Switch is the developers themselves. It has nothing to do with Nintendo. It has nothing to do with the hardware. It has nothing to do with like the audience. It is entirely because of the developers.
back in 2017, that was a big deal because there was no PCs like that at the time that could really do that. The Switch was something different that brought these AAA games like you never saw before in a device like it to a device like the Nintendo Switch. And for a guy who isn't huge into Nintendo Switch exclusives, that's what made me fall in love with the Switch. But now time is going on, and the Switch is getting long in the tooth. And if you haven't noticed, every time you watch a Nintendo Direct, there's a game like there's Nier Automata that came out in 2016. They're getting that.
No reason it couldn't have come out day one. None.
On the Switch.
Wait a minute. I just noticed. What the fuck is the quartering doing in the background here? What the fuck? What the fuck, Rich?
Light the original one over to the Switch, which is still a mind-blowing port, but they're getting further and farther between, and it's making me lose interest in the Switch.
There are no games. Like, this is what Rich doesn't talk about. This is what he doesn't want to admit. There are no games to port to Nintendo Switch. There are a handful of games. There are a handful of things that I would like to see, stuff like Yakuza 0 and stuff like that. But for the long and short of it, like, we've got everything that has come out in the last 10 years that's worth playing. Like, basically everything. We've got Persona 5. We've got Nier Automata coming out. We have all this stuff. Funny how he says this immediately after that third-party Direct, by the way, in which we got Nier Automata and we got like Persona 5, games that were supposedly too powerful for the Nintendo Switch to run. But no, he's going to continue this narrative that like, oh man, like Nintendo, they can't compete.
Okay, Hammond, now you keep waiting for your games to be ported to the Switch, running at a shitty frame rate with the most terrible graphics going. Why not play them on the PC? You've claimed in a previous video that you built yourself a PC, but why wait to play these games? Like Nier Automata is an absolute phenomenal game. You should play that, but you should play it at a high frame rate with the best graphics on a PC. Not to mention that Nintendo will 100% going to overcharge you for that game, like they do every other third-party game on the Switch.
As a person who liked the Switch for the third-party games. But Jay has a different take.
By the way, this is the same person who's constantly peddling nonsense about how Switch is going to release a new console, how the Switch Pro is totally a thing, and how it's going to be announced like this year. Like, he's been saying this for like the past 5 years or something like that. Like, he's going to seriously argue that like the Steam Deck like far outstrips the Nintendo Switch, like in power, and the Switch can't keep up, while like simultaneously saying that like the Switch is going to get like a successor soon. Like, that doesn't make any sense, Rich. None.
Oh, I bet you're hoping for a Switch 2 yourself. And why not hope for a Switch 2? What's wrong with that? Hopefully Nintendo make one. Hopefully it's a success. I just hope they don't overprice every game like they did.
On this, he is not shirtless, but he is still looking gorgeous as ever, and I'll let him take over from here and give his 2 cents.
So thank you for that. I do look gorgeous, but let me just point out something. The reason I'm in this video is because we kind of wanted to, even though I haven't touched a Steam Deck, I've been in gaming for more than half my life, so I understand how these things work. And yeah, I still need to hold one in my hand to get that feeling, but the idea, the premise, everything behind it, I understand that. Now, the reason I'm in the video is because I thought it would be kind of important to tell Rich a few different things about the Switch that most people might overlook. I don't think a lot of people watching this show would overlook these things because, well, we're all into gaming and we all love all the companies, hopefully. And I agree with Rich on that one. But I
what the fuck,
coming
Rich?
from a Nintendo fanboy, I could clearly say that. I'm wearing a Mario hat and
oh yeah, I own Mario merchandise. That makes me a hardcore fan.
And you don't have merchandise in the background there. All them Zelda and Mario posters.
I'm clearly a Nintendo fanboy. I've got a Legend of Zelda tattoo, so just being transparent here. I grew up with Nintendo, so seeing these other consoles come to market, these handheld consoles, trying to compete, not necessarily directly with Nintendo, but trying to compete in this handheld market is definitely interesting to me. But, Rich, I do want to bring up a couple of points. Number one is first-party software. Nintendo has the biggest in the business. You're never going to get...
Yeah, that is... I'm not taking that away from them, yeah.
So...
Yeah. I love how it's becoming more commonly accepted that, like, yeah, Nintendo's first-party titles are the best in the industry. Like, none of this shit, like, 10, 15 years ago, where people were saying, like, oh, man, Final Fantasy's bigger, Metal Gear's bigger. No, like, Nintendo's always had the best first-party IPs.
You're stupid.
Now, the only argument I have there is they don't have the best IPs. They do have some good ones. I'll give them that. But nowhere near the best IPs. You keep dreaming there, Hammond.
I gotta ask you this, Rich, and the audience probably wants to know this too. If you're gonna switch over to the Steam Deck and you've got the AAA titles over there that obviously are gonna look better on the Steam Deck itself, is there a part of you that, like, you know, Breath of the Wild 2, you're gonna go back to the Switch to play it, or a new Mario game, or you know what I'm saying? You'll always go back to the Nintendo thing. But do you feel ever that you'll never go back because you're just sick of it, or do you think?
No,
Nintendo's...
like I said, I would go back for exclusives, and a lot of people go to me. I think.
Like, why am I even watching this? This is fucking stupid. It's padded out. It's Rich trying to damage control his nonsense. Yeah, I think that's really all you have to see. All you have to know about this is that it's just Rich trying to, like, defend his ridiculous position that the Nintendo Switch is irrelevant. Even though, like, he's admitting right here that because Nintendo Switch has games that the Steam Deck will never legally get, like, they're not irrelevant. That's ridiculous. The entire notion of this video is nonsense. Rich is a complete piece of shit. Like, that's all there is to it. And you know what? I'm gonna go and play some video games. Fuck reviewtechUSA.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething.
Oh, Hammond is mad. I think you've triggered him, Rich. Oh, this is funny to watch. The biggest bootlickers in the industry. Oh my god. Hammond is proper salty about reviewtechUSA. He's been salty about the Steam Deck since it was announced. He has videos on his channel just saying the Switch is always going to be better and the Switch will be the best for all eternity. I don't know what he's going on about. Anyway, I had enough of this shit. Please subscribe to me so we can pass Hammond's subscription count at least. So like, subscribe, if you so choose to. I'll see you in the next one.
Exposed.